Hey, what's up, guys? Mike Patrick. In this video, I want to quickly talk about something that I came across today that was very synchronizing. Okay, now, I was leaving the beach. Okay, and I seen this couple just going at it. Okay, now it was a younger Caucasian couple with the baby, and when I say younger, probably like the guy appeared to be in his late 20s, early to mid 30s, anywhere from 25 to 35, you know. Uh, then the female, I would say same thing. And they had a baby that was probably no more than mm, close to 2 years old, maybe. And so they were just going at it, okay? Like, I think they had just got to the beach. And then next thing you know, you just hear like the guy just going off. And then the woman said, she said something. I wasn't really trying to eavesdrop on their conversation too much. Plus, I didn't want to make it look obvious because the only reason I was really paying attention to it at all is at this point. Like, it was a point in time in my life where I would have just tried to look at something like that just out of sheer nosiness and just enjoying seeing drama like that, right? But I was trying to do it for research purposes. You know what I'm saying? Like, trying to see like, okay, what's going on here? Because these guys look like a happy. You would think like everything looked great. You know what I mean? They were dressed nice, clean cut. You know, had a nice car. You know what I mean? Getting out of a nice SUV. You know, both of them were fairly, like I said, well groomed, nice looking people, and had a baby. One child. A little baby, and so it would appear that they would have been great. They would have been good, and then you just hear them going at it. Like, I ain't gonna even say, some of the things that I heard, but you just hear them going at it. And so, then I get home, and then I'm like maybe like 20 minutes ago. Now I'm strolling through my timeline, and then I just see. Now, mind you, I have seen something like this before. Okay, and so now I just, well, like I said, with the synchronicity, I seen it enough, and it makes enough sense that this would start happening. That now I want to do a video about it. Okay, um, I had been seeing, like, when I was just here, like I said, like 20, 30 minutes ago, and then over the last few weeks, I've been seeing how they saying that domestic violence is going up and divorces are going up, or people filing for divorces are going up. And it's one of them things where it's like, all right, how do you really know that? Who's really keeping track of stuff like that, especially at this particular point in time? But whatever. It makes sense anyway, right? And then despite this whole COVID-19 thing, I've already spoke about this. This has been going on anyway, okay? As one of the assaults and onslaughts of the 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 I guess you can call it the dismantling of this society. You know, um, broken relationships, families being broken apart, more and more children having to live without, one or another parent, or and just people just having that spirit on them where they can't get along, they can't be together, and families can't be together. Now, people take different approaches to this. People got different angles and different ways of looking at this. But the thing about it, anytime you think you're getting, nothing is free. And so there's what's happening is, at least what I know, I've seen a couple cases, and I know this is the thing. I don't want to seem like I'm attacking any particular type of people or gender or anything like that. But you got to be careful with that feminine spirit, okay? You got to be careful. I know it seems like you on fire. I know it seems like, oh, I get it, right? But you gotta always dig deeper. And anything that comes easy and it seems like, oh, this is just easy. This feeds your flesh. This is the easy thing to do. 9 times out of 10, there's going to be a price to pay for that. Okay, um, more than what you thought you had to pay for it at the particular point in time of you attaining whatever you thought you was attaining. And with that said, right, um, people are trapped in their house a little longer. People are out of work, right? And so people who really should love each other and shouldn't mind being around each other, let's face it, a lot of couples are unhappy couples, okay? And then it gets to a point where they're just, they just feel like they're tolerating each other. And so it may be able to last on the surface based on the fact that, okay, people have careers, right? So if I ain't got to be in the house with him 24/7, I ain't got to be in the house with her 24/7, right? The kids at school, the kids at daycare, everybody was getting their time away, even though that's so just completely dysfunctional and unfortunate that we have come to this in society where you feel like the person you supposed to love, that you married, that you had children with, all these things, now you feel like it's a point where you can't even stand to be around that person. Um, so I think that's a testimony to just like how dysfunctional humanity is. It's like humans have a thing in them where it's like, how do you get to, if you love someone so hard for a certain amount of time, all the way to the point where you can marry them, have children, and things like that. And we know people do things like this irresponsibly, so we're not even talking about those people who just do basically what you could say stupid stuff. Lay down, have kids with people that they barely know, anything like that. Married people. I know people who's married people that they barely knew, and the marriage ain't last 2 weeks. Um, but we're discounting even those people. That's just off the wall. Just people who just, you know, I guess you could say no common sense. Okay, who knows where those people's minds are when they do things like that? But I'm talking about people who, you know, a legitimate, you could say, give it a legitimate argument, like, okay, you're gonna marry this person, you've been dealing with them for how many years, y'all been through what together, y'all did this together, y'all did that together, okay, y'all have a certain amount of children, things like that, where it's just not like, okay, what are you doing, like, okay, you like, all right, it's time to do this, let's get married or whatever. I'm saying people who then did things like that, and then been married for years on top of years. Like I said, I didn't, I'm hearing stories, seeing stories, with people who done been together for literally double digits. You know what I mean? And now they're getting divorced and things like that. So whatever you want to call it, depending on your beliefs, you can look at it a certain type of way. You got pagans and people who are into certain things who think it's a good thing, and it's liberation of women and things like that, and the female energy, spirit, and things like that rising up and things. And I mean, who am I to tell you that that's not true? If that's what's going on in your mind, if that's the way you choose to perceive it, all I can say is, for the sake of you, I hope it's right. You know what I'm saying? But then there's some people who, from a Christian standpoint or a biblical standpoint, who see it a whole nother way, and so on and so on. So, like I said, you got to be careful. What I would want to do, what I want to do, and I've said this way back in the past, I want to encourage people to try to stay together. If it's that easy, it's clear as day. If you have a bird eye view, you can clearly see that there's some type of spirit that is spawning um and instigating dysfunctionality and separation and fragmentation, I guess you could say. Okay, I don't know how that's a good thing. You know, in some cases it may be. Like I said, like they say, domestic violence is going up. Well, if it's true domestic violence, I mean, domestic violence. I'm not telling a woman or a man to stay in a situation when somebody's beating and battering them and things like that, or doing that to you, your children and things like that. Um, but I'm sure in a lot of cases that's not necessarily the case. Okay, and then people will use excuses and over exaggerate things to try to justify, um, a means to an end. And so what I want to say is, like I said, I wouldn't advise anyone to fall into that spirit. If you marry somebody, work on it. If you got children, try to work on it, man. Make it to where, as they say, death do you part through sickness and whatever. I don't know what vows are, but like live by those. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like live by those, at least attempt to. Because right now I'm seeing too many people just fall to. I'm assuming weakness, because I'm assuming you didn't fight like you could have to keep things together. And if you didn't make a commitment to somebody, that's one thing. But if you went as far as marrying somebody, having children and things like that, it's worth a fight. Okay. Um, and so like I said, I seen that in the at the beach today, and I doubt that couple can make it, because the anger that was in that man dealing with that woman, I know there's some stuff there that is probably not going to be worked out. They may hold on a little longer. They had like I said, they had the baby and things like that. They probably have societal status and things like that, um, to where they'll probably try to hold on, so it won't look bad. But I doubt that couple can make it. Just looking at that, like looking at, because especially if they're regular mundane people that doesn't have the ability and the knowledge and the fortitude to go deep to work out whatever they need to work out, it's probably just not going to work out. You know what I'm saying? And this is happening now. Like I said, with the whole COVID thing, this is happening. Okay, this is happening. People having to spend more and more time around each other, and unfortunately, people that you're supposed to be loving, you apparently hate them. And now it's different when you're dealing with like immediate family, that you can't choose your family, but you choose your significant other. Okay, so it's no reason for you to just be so out of sight or out of touch that you just keep, or that you just choose the wrong person to go as far as marrying them. How does that work? I don't get it. You know what I mean? I guess, like I said, I mean, maybe I'd have a whole different perception, a whole different idea. I haven't made a lot of detrimental mistakes, like to where like how most people just make certain mistakes. It's like, how you do that? How you make that mistake? So, um, like some people got children all over the place, different things. So some people just, some people that have been married multiple times. Some things just, I guess I'm just more conservative when it comes to certain things. Um, and so I just don't get it. But people have their own mind, right? So guys, bottom line, more of the story. Try to work on things, guys. Try to work on yourself so you won't be so susceptible and easily to just degenerate and break apart. Because like I said, that spirit out here, so it'll be real easy to do it. It don't necessarily mean it's the right thing to do, because it's the easy thing to do. All right. Because there will be dire consequences to families splitting up, people splitting up, all these different wedges and wars being waged in different ways, from when it comes to race, sex, gender, all this stuff. You gotta look at the big picture and see what's forming here, and ask yourself, do you really want to play that game? All right, guys. Hopefully this was a helpful video. Peace.